Hello, good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Right now it's 10 a.m. in the Philippines where I'm coming from today. It's 10 a.m. on, let's see, it's Monday, the 22nd of July, 2019. Right now at New York time, it's 10 p.m. on Sunday night, July 21st. Here to talk about love tips, tips to help us have more love in our lives. I believe that love is the grand unified theory. It's the solution to everything that's going on in the world. If you don't know that, if you don't believe that, take another look at love. Consider what love is. Try to understand what love is. I know what love is because I look inside my heart and I look inside the heart of others and I look at what really moves me and what really works and what really makes sense in the world. And love is it. Love works hands down. Um, it's not an absolute truth because I don't believe in absolute truths. I believe in always learning, always growing, and the things that we thought were facts, that were immutable facts, that could never be changed, that could never be altered. A lot of times we find out that that's not true. It got me out of a lot of cults, I'll tell you right now. Keeping an open mind and realizing it wasn't so much out of being smart or being having self-confidence or something like that. It was, I got out of cults because low self-esteem, maybe self-doubt. Could I be right? Am I right? If other people are not doing this, then how could I be right about this? Because it's in such contrast. So actually, even though I feel very, very strongly and confident about love because I've seen what it's done, I've seen how it works, I've experienced it firsthand, and I see how it functions in the world, there could be something I don't know. Could always be learning. Hasn't happened yet. Could happen. Okay, so today we're going to just talk about love and how it relates to anger and hate. You know, we get these feelings sometimes of anger and hate. When I see some guy, some sniper in Israel taking pot shots at kids that are absolutely no threat to them and then getting away with that, it's not only that someone would do something like that, it's not only the incredible pain that that child has gone through. Sometimes they'll lose a leg. It's common that they'll become amputees because that's the intention, is to terrorize these people and make them afraid and subdue them and beat them into submission. But it's also the world. The world stands by, doesn't do anything about it. So this is one of my sensitive areas. And I'll get angry about it. I'll get frustrated about it. I'll make posts about that. And it makes me hate the state of Israel. It makes me hate not Jewish people because it's very easy for me to see the difference between Jewish people and some sniper in Israel. And the Israeli people, I've been to Israel, and the Jewish people. But I do think that some people can be really cold-hearted, and I really get angry. Yeah, I guess I could say, now that I'm exploring this a little bit more than I have in the past, I'm not so angry at what the guy did because there's sociopaths and psychopaths all over the place running countries and running businesses and, you know, cheating people, killing people, raping people, things like that. So sociopaths, psychopaths, this is not an unusual thing in this world. It's part of what the world is about. Part of our challenge is to learn how can we love despite these horrible things that happen, these horrible things that we do. It's not so much the existence of them. I've accepted that. I've made peace with that. What's hard for me to make peace with, and that's my weakness right now, and this is a weakness that I have, that I need to do. I need to make peace with the fact that nobody or very few is anybody doing anything about it. It's amazing what people get away with. I mean, look at the banking system in America and look at people that are hardworking people that are out on the street because they couldn't make their mortgage payment, but people that are running those. I mean, it's incredible the the how passive people are when these things go on. That's what frustrates me, and that's my lack of understanding of how I want to do something about this, how I want to speak out about it, how I want to sign petitions, how I want to do whatever I can. And right now I'm doing whatever I can to share with people. Here's how we can empower ourselves. Here's how we can empower ourselves by uniting against tyrants, people that just are absolutely, cheating and ripping off and stealing and lying and manipulating and enslaving meek people, innocent people, people that are uninformed, people that just are don't know what's going on, and so they end up being taken advantage of. And so I'm an advocate for that. So I have to deal with anger. I have to deal with hate within myself. How about anger and hate when it comes to people like Michael Jackson? Okay, Michael Jackson, a darling of hundreds of millions of people around the world. And then this thing breaks out about him being a child abuser or sexually violating these young boys that would come and sleep over at his house. Now, does that take away everything that Michael Jackson ever did that was good? He wrote a lot of songs and he contributed a lot in a lot of positive ways. A very gentle soul, a very generous soul, a very kind soul, giving in a lot of ways. I don't know about his sexual habits. I wasn't there, and I don't know exactly how that went down. I know what it's like to be sexually abused firsthand. I know what it's like to be taken advantage of. I know what it's like to be starstruck by somebody and things like that. I know what that's like. And I think the amount of hate that has been hurled at Michael Jackson about something that we really don't know either way, but we do know for sure the contributions that he has made. Do we 100% now? Do we use our tribalism? Do we use our hate machine, our primitive hate machine? This is very, very primitive. Hate and anger are very primitive reactions. They don't involve sentience. They don't involve higher thinking. They don't involve compassion. They don't involve love. They're at the other end of the scale, so they're reactive. They don't require any computation on our part. We just see people that are self-righteous. This self-righteousness, it's a primitive, very primitive concept, or a very primitive reaction, I should say. So when people hear about, oh, he did this, I hate him, suddenly hate him. Can we still admire and love the part of him that contributed so much to us, from entertainment, from humanitarian things that he did, from kindness and love? We throw all that away. None of that matters. If you want to do that, you better throw away everything you've ever heard of, because there's nobody who's perfect. I mean, Gandhi beat his wife. One of the most, I can't remember the guy's name right now, but one of the most famous guys who did the 12-step program books went back to alcoholism before he died. We are, Mother Teresa is hated by some. They throw away all the good work that she did because they're listening to allegations that she did this and she did that. I don't care what she did. It's not important to me now. She's dead and gone. And what's important now is what we're doing. What do we do? Do we take someone and demonize them completely? How about Harvey Weinstein? Now, here's a guy who, what did he win? He won many Tony Awards and an Oscar. The guy has done some fantastic movies as a producer. He's done some fantastic work that we have just loved and enjoyed, and has brought so much fantastic entertainment to the world. And I think it's pretty conclusive that the guy was a sexual predator in ways. He would take advantage of his power to have sex with women. You never ever see, you hear the word gold digger, right? But that's kind of, I mean, is that about hate? The hate for somebody like Harvey Weinstein compared to the hate for someone who uses their sexuality to extract money and run and leave and manipulate and cheat and rip off because they've got this very sexy or attractive appearance. Do we want to hate anybody? Do we want to hate Harvey? Do we want to hate all beautiful women? Do we want to hate someone because they've taken advantage of their, what about people who take advantage of their strong brain? People who can outwit you. Do we hate people that are smart now? We're going back to days where we're executing anybody who owns land or anybody who's an intellectual. Love doesn't hate. Kind of obvious to say that, isn't it? It sounds kind of obvious. So love accepts, understands, love appreciates, love respects. Love is kind, love is polite. Yeah, believe it or not. If I met Harvey Weinstein, I would be polite. If I met Bill Cosby, I would be polite to him. I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what happened. But I do know that people make mistakes, and I know that I make mistakes. So who's going to be the first one to cast a stone? Those people who are going to throw a stone, those people that are hateful, they're really hating themselves, because like love, hate is a universal thing. So if we're intolerant, disrespectful, and rude to other people because we hear something about them, may be true, may not be true. But it's a given that we're all imperfect. We hear that, and then suddenly we hate them. We turn on them, and we become tribal, and we say, I don't want to have anything to do with. And the extension of that would be because somebody who was black ripped you off. They robbed you, or they stole something from you. And then you hate all black people as a result. Or someone who's a Southerner hates black people, so you hate all Southerners. You call them all rednecks or whatever, things like that. Prejudice like that is just an extension of ignorance, of hate. And it's a more stupid version. It's a more of an ignorant version. It's more of an inability to see the distinctions that we all have. We all are different. We all make mistakes. Once we understand that we all make mistakes, even somebody like Michael Jackson, even somebody who's an Academy Award winner, even somebody who's the best dancer in the world, or somebody who's the best singer or whatever. People go on these witch hunts, and they go on these hate campaigns. They get on this hate bandwagon. It's primitive. It's primitive. It's not helpful at all. Accountability, yes. We believe in accountability. Love believes in accountability. Love believes in protecting victims, empowering people that could be otherwise become a victim. Love believes in that. Love wants people to be empowered, to be strong. Love wants to nurture people and help them to grow into mighty oaks of self-expression. But love doesn't try to burn down and destroy anybody that it sees as a threat, anybody that makes a mistake, anybody who does something that's kind of stupid. Look at Louis C.K. I can't believe it. I'm sure he can't believe it either, but what can he do? He's in the public eye. He's a very famous guy. And he actually asked permission, can I do this in front of you? And because he's a powerful guy, he got in trouble for that, because maybe a lot of people, maybe everybody, or maybe some of these women said, yeah, you can do that because you're in a position of power and maybe you'll help my career. So does that, compromising your integrity? Yeah, so there's a crime there. You compromise your integrity by saying, okay, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to do it. I compromised my integrity when I was abused a couple of different times by different people. My own darn fault for doing that, for compromising my integrity. Not my fault for the action that they took. They're responsible for the actions that they took, but I'm responsible for the actions that I took, even as a kid. Because there are kids that stand up to this. There are kids that will resist this, that have a strong sense of self. They understand self-love. They understand saying, no, I don't want to be any part of that. So when we look at these terrible situations that occur in this world, anger and hate come from a primitive place inside of us. Let go of the anger, let go of the hate. That's the love tip. The love tip is review what love means. Number one, it's acceptance. These things happen. Number two, it's understanding, communication. If you're really understanding that we all make mistakes, and you understand that you make mistakes, and the hate and the anger that comes from inside of you, it's your hate, it's your anger. We don't need to admire hate and anger when we know where it comes from and we know what it does in the world. So who's responsible for that? Who's accountable for that? Each of us that have that hate and anger inside of us are. Handle your own weakness first Before you point the finger and say, I hate that guy should be locked up, he should be strung up high, blah, 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 whatever. We got plenty of that in the world. And let me tell you, it gets us nowhere. Gets nobody nowhere. Gets everybody nowhere. Gets nobody anywhere. Living within that hate, justifying that hate, fighting to hold on to your hate and your anger. Who's it hurting? It's only hurting you. And it's really silly when you look at it, because it's not a constructive, not a positive, not a solution to anything. Remember, if you don't conflate accountability with hate, it's not the same thing. You can protect someone who's vulnerable, and you can stop someone, prevent them from hurting somebody without hating and without punishing, without the hate, without the anger. You don't have to have that. Think about it this way. When a little child is doing something that's destructive, maybe they've got a toy and they're banging in there, they broke a glass because they don't understand. Do you hate? Do you anger? No, you understand. You protect the glass, you put it up on the shelf, and you take the stick away from the baby. You don't beat the baby, you don't punish the baby, you don't hate the baby. And when you really, really understand human nature, you understand how the human brain works, how human beings really are, you give the same amount of forgiveness and understanding to that mass murderer that you would to an innocent baby, to that rapist that you would to someone with Down syndrome, or someone who has some mental difficulty, that they're special. Because there's a reason why people do these things. You know, it's been shown that mass murderers, a lot of time, you know, they were abused, they were beaten, they were mistreated incredibly as children. You can always find a reason for this. There's always a reason for why people do evil stuff, bad stuff, mean stuff, hurtful stuff. There's always a reason for that. And when we understand that, it helps us to let go of the hate and the anger, apply protection for those who need it, help to empower them and support them and protect them, and also to prevent these sociopaths, psychopaths, confused people, people with trouble, from hurting others more. And that's the key. So don't conflate these different things, thinking that your hate and your anger is somehow helping anybody. It's not. Hate and anger don't help, and they hurt you and they hurt the world, these qualities of hate and anger. Love conquers all. Thanks so much for being there. Thank you so much for listening today. This has been another love tip from LoveBudi. Hope everything's going wonderful with you. Hope there's a lot of love in your life. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, take care and bye-bye for now.